I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and salutations to the brothers in Great Millstone and the light camps that are spreading this doctrine of truth, right? That the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the descendants of the Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of, as well as so-called white people are Esau, Edom, right? That the scriptures speak of, and that we are living in the end days. However long that may last, but it's definitely here. The mark of the beast is on the scene, which is the RFID chip, right? Uh, Evidence of that being enforced is these vaccines, right? As well as them trying to mainstream medical records and have them on the person's body, right, permanently. And a cashless society. They're already talking about a corn shortage, right? Next, it's going to be the bills, and then all of a sudden, it's going to be once the dollar fully collapses, right, or whatever event that they have planned, then it's going to go straight to wireless currency through the form of an implantable chip, right, which is the mark of the beast spoken of in Revelation. Today, in this video, though, I wanted to touch on the Day of the Atonement and then some thoughts on the Day of Atonement, right? So, first and foremost, I want to uh, let you know that if you want, a good video to watch on the Day of Atonement, there's one right here, and it's on the channel GMS DocuTube, which is Apostle Elder Tahar's channel, right? And he gets into it, right? So when it comes to the meat in the scriptures, right, you got to let the pros handle that. The seasoned apostles and elders who can, thoroughly explain uh, the high holy days, right, and the meat of the scriptures, things that are a little bit more dense, and that they can answer all those questions. So I definitely highly recommend, a Day of Atonement um, video that Apostle Elder Tahar posted, as well as the other apostles. They posted videos as well. I recommend you to go search them down and find them all if you want to get in depth to the Day of Atonement. With that being said, it today is, I believe, Wednesday. And today's Wednesday, so it starts tomorrow in the evening. So it's going to go Thursday evening to Friday evening. And really quick, this high holy day requires a 24-hour fast of food and water, right? Sometimes it's just food. This time it's food and water. So you need to be preparing accordingly for that. You need to make sure that you're hydrated and that you eat well, obviously, the day before, especially if you have to work the day of, right? And you're going to try to make those 24 hours, definitely important to be at least hydrated. All right. And I just want to bring out a few scriptures, uh, and like I said, if you want to know more about the Day of Atonement, go look at those videos and all the other brothers within the different GMS camps across the globe, right? Go look their videos, go look at their videos, go hunt them down, right? Now, these are like things I think about, right? During the Day of Atonement, other brothers are different. Everybody's walk is different, so they're struggling with different demons per se, right? Actual literal demons, and strongholds. They're meditating and thinking of various things, right? One big thing to have in mind and always keep in check, which is always but especially true on the Day of Atonement, because you are making an atonement for your sins, right, for your transgressions, is humility, right? You got to keep your pride in check, right? Which that goes, like, for me, brothers in the truth, that's always have your pride in check. You got to stay humble, because the Lord's coming back for the humble and the meek, right? That's who he's coming back for. All right, so your pride in all these different things, right? All these different abilities, your knowledge, even in knowledge in the scriptures, right? All of that pride needs to be in check. For a lot of brothers who've been in this truth for a long time, that went away with the old man, right? You're supposed to put off the old man of the world, the carnal man, right? The fleshly man. You're supposed to put that guy off and become a new creature altogether, right? But the thing is pride is a stronghold, and it comes in different forms. So you could have put a lot of pride away, but still hold on to some pride in certain things. And what I mean by that is like Babylon, right, aka America, teaches you to be proud in every last damn thing, right? Junior high, high school, what college you went to, who you run with, who your friends are, what females you've dealt with, the car you drive, the truck you drive, the clothes you wear. I mean, you fucking name it, man. This place injects your ass with pride. You're saturated by it. Just watching, these Democratic Convention and the Republican National Convention, bro. The word pride and the word proud must have been used a million fucking times. It's absolutely ridiculous, and they force it on you, right? So it's very easy to stay proud in certain aspects, even when in this truth, right? So that's one thing that is always on my mind, but definitely on the Day of Atonement, it's going to be even more so. You got to highlight the fact that we're supposed to be meek and humble, right? And that we're making atonement for our transgressions, and we really are, in the most sincere way, seeking forgiveness and eventually salvation, right? And not like these fake BS Christianity salvation to where they're saved because they accepted a false name, some white dude, right? No, it's not that salvation. That's not real. It's not a thing. You're not saved until you're saved, man, right? The Israelites weren't saved out of their numerous captivities until they were literally saved from those captivities, physically removed, right? And put in another land, right? Same thing goes for this time and right now, right? We're not saved until we're saved, man. Until you're on those chariots, until you're out of Babylon, you're seeing Babylon being destroyed, then you are saved, right? So that's what the hopeful elect is seeking, right? One way that we go about that is being humble and meek in this truth. As we go on in this truth, as we grow in this truth, that's what we're practicing. So this is Proverbs 6:16. These 6 things doth the Lord hate. Yeah, 7 are an abomination to him. All right. So this is the Lord, Yahushua Hamashiach, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, right? These things he hates, right? And then there's a number one thing that he hates, right? And the 7 are an abomination unto him. Going on. A proud look is number 1. A lying tongue and hands that shed innocent blood. So there we go. A proud look, right? That's what we're focusing on. And that's pride in anything. I just want to stress that again. That's pride in anything. You could be proud in the knowledge you have. You can be proud and the awareness that you have that you are an Israelite, right? And we're a chosen people above all nations. You could be proud in that fact, right? Now there's a difference between pride and confidence, and everyone's well aware of that difference. So I don't even really need to go into it, man. There's a difference, all right? Now this world makes you proud. Now you can be bold and you can be confident in this truth, and there's two different things. They're not the same, all right? So a proud look. When we go on with this very very important day, I would say this is there's the Passover, right? There's the Day of Atonement, right? This is important ranks up there in the high holy days, right? So it's not to be taken lightly, right? And you're supposed to try we're here to rehearse the righteous acts. We're not going to get everything right, right? So we're not saved by the law, but we're going to be practitioners of the law to the best of our abilities, right? Though we are going to mess up, right? We're designed to mess up, okay? We're in these chains of darkness, right? And we get temptation all around. So that's what the deal is, okay? So you, to the best of your ability, you're supposed to carry out this 24-hour fast, right? And be meditating on the atonement for your transgressions, okay? But to the best of your ability, okay? Some people will be working, some people will have the day off, okay? Um, you know, um, if it comes down to it, and you work outside, like I work inside and outside, and it's hot, and you need water to keep you from hitting the pavement. Drink water, dude. Come on now, right? Uh, but take this seriously. It's not a game, and this is like, this is your works, right? The sacrifices that you make, and the observation of this holy day is a part of your works, as well as a plea for salvation. So it's not a game. All right. This is 2 Corinthians 13:5. Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves, right? Know ye not your own selves? How that Yahweh Shai Hamashiach is in you, except ye be yet reprobates. Okay, cool. So reprobates, right? Backsliders, people who can't get right or can't learn to do right. Okay, examine yourself. All right. So a lot of times in this truth, we go to examining everybody else, right? Starting with Esau, Edom, along with the 2/3 of Israel, the woman Eve, right? So on and so forth. On this day, you examine yourself for sure. All right. And we go in on these other groups of people, if you will, right? Other individuals, right? Like I just said, our enemies, the heathen nations, and we go in and we put them on blast. We put them, we there's an expose, right? you know, but on this day, this is your assets being exposed, by your own self. Okay, you're supposed to examine yourself and the things you can work on, and then just like any other craft in life, right? Like working out, something I can relate to. Um, you can never be perfect. All right, you never be perfect, but you can work on being perfect. You know what I'm saying? So because perfection is unachievable, you can always work towards it. This word is the same thing, right? Whether it's your diet, whether it's strongholds in your mind, like alcohol, smoking, women, abstaining from self-indulgence and doing things, going overboard on things, which here in Babylon, food is a big one, right? Food is a huge one, right? And since this is a 24-hour fast, it correlates, right? Like it's a day of atonement. You have to fast food and water, but all year round, you're supposed to be, if you're in this truth, if you're in this faith, you're supposed to be abstaining from the indulgences of the flesh. So with that being said, or what I mean by that is, clean your diet up, control your portions, less sugar, carbs when you need them, more greens than meat, right? So even though you're not going and breaking dietary laws, like you're abstaining from abominable foods, right? Doesn't mean that your diet is perfect, right? You can go more into it, right, and clean it up more. Get your heart cleaned up, right? Get your cardio on point. Blood pressure down, right? Make the bloat go away, right? Make the inflammation of the joints and the muscles go away, and that's all diet. You know what I'm saying? So you can always work on being better, even if you're already in this truth and following the laws, is what I'm saying, right? On this specific day, there's no pointing fingers, there's no looking at anyone else, there's no highlighting 2/3, there's no going in on Eve or Esau Edom, or no, this is about you, right? So during that 24-hour period, the Day of Atonement, right, it's going to be self reflection, 100% self reflection, with one of the things being highlighted is humility, right? The meek, okay? Uh, and to expand on that, I got a couple scriptures right here. Zephaniah 2:2 and 2:3. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, right? Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, right? And that chaff, right? It's separating the chaff from the wheat, right? Chaff is, you can't use chaff, but you can use wheat, and the chaff is usually burned, right? So that's what it's talking about that day. You know what I'm saying? Before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you, right? Because the Lord's anger is on its way, and it's going to be the darkest day ever on planet Earth, right? No day before, no day after is going to be as intense, as horrible, terrifying, as bloody as this day, okay? Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth, right? And that's the highlight right there. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth, low and humble, right? The Israelites, the hopeful elect, which have wrought his judgment, right? Seek righteousness, all right? And that's what we're doing, especially like during the Day of Atonement, keeping the Day of Atonement to the best of our ability, right? We're seeking righteousness. We're going to do our best in this time to rehearse the righteous acts. Seek meekness. Boom, right there, right? So it's warning you of the day of the Lord. And what are the thing? What is it telling you, right? Well, when the scriptures repeat itself, it's because it wants to put the point across, right? Repetition is the father of learning, right? And the scriptures are really good at being repetitive, right? So right there within one precept, within one verse, it has said it twice, right? It says it up here, all you meek of the earth, right? Then it sends it again, seek meekness, all right? So humility and being low is a big part of this. What's one way that you can humble yourself and put yourself in a low state is by examining yourself and checking yourself and seeing where you're going off or been going off, or where the old man comes back, right? Where the worldly you comes back. Any resentments that you may have, like anger. Anger is a big issue in Israel, right? Anger and rage is a big issue in Israel. The scriptures say that we're like a bull caught in a net, and that's why our prisons are made up of northern and southern kingdom Israelites, right? Like up to 80%, shit. The majority is probably Jake up in prison. Why? Because they have anger and they have rage, right? Because they lack understanding as to the conditions that they have to live in, right? Be born in, grow up in, and then they find these outlets, different temptations to pursue, and it gets them locked up. All right, and it comes from a lack of understanding, which leads to anger, rage, and then just acting an ass, right? Murdering their brother, doing drugs, so on and so forth. All right. Seek meekness; it may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger, and that is what we're looking for. Is we're looking for mercy first and foremost, right? uh, and salvation, right? And it's saying it may be, you shall be, right? Because we can't sit here and fool ourselves into believing like, oh, I'm elect, good to go, nothing to worry about. Nah, man. If that were the case, we'd be having the same busted, bugged out brain that these Christians do, right? Because they accept their false god, going by the made up name Jesus Christ, and then they go about their fucking day. They don't change anything. They continue to break every last law in the scriptures, whether they could keep it or not, because they don't care, right? No, because we can't be convinced that we are the elect, we're the hopeful elect, right? We have to continue to work, to strive. We have to continue to strive towards mercy and salvation, right? And that's what we're looking for, to be hid in that day. Because the things that the scriptures say, the prophecies that are going to come to pass, the things that scriptures say about this day are absolutely horrendous. I mean, besides the murder and the bloodshed, the violence, the women being ravished, the children being murdered, babies being murdered. Besides that, you're going to have things like apparitions, right? You're going to have just demons out in the open, right? You're gonna have, the reapers, the angels coming through and smoking everybody. Like, it's going to be horrible. Leviathan coming out of the water, something that very, very few people believe, right? But when it happens, can you imagine that? People are going to be trying to kill themselves as soon as they see it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's going to be terrible, and we need mercy, right, and salvation to be hid from those things. This Amos 8:11, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor of thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. All right. So here in Babylon the Great, right? Um, Dude, America's the fattest fucking country, the most gluttonous piece of crap country on the face of the earth, and it's for a reason, because the devil dwells here, right? This is the most wicked place on the planet. That's why the Most High is going to send His Son and the angels to turn it into the lake of fire, right? With nuclear destruction. Okay. With that being said, it might be difficult for newcomers in the faith, right, or brothers who don't have their diet on lock to go through this, go through this fast or whatnot, you know. But at the same time, when you're, sacrificing on this day, by fasting, right, something that you can think about, right, and reflect on and meditate on is the famine, right? Both famines, the actual famine, the literal famine, right, of food and water that is on its way, right? That's going to take a lot of people, and the spiritual famine, right? Hearing hearing the words of the Lord, right? So you got to get the eating in while the eating is good, spiritually speaking. All right, while the videos are being put out, while you can read, right, and have an understanding given to you by the prophets of the Lord, the men of the Lord, the teachers of the Lord, right, the elders, the brothers, um, these of these camps across the world. You know, get it in while it's good. Also, during this fast, you can think of the literal famine, right? The literal famine that's coming, right? And it's on its way. And actually, it's already here. We just haven't been touched yet. People haven't been touched by it yet, And for some reason, Jake is really fucking hard headed, and Babylonians are really fucking blinded and hard headed. And because of that, like something literally needs to touch them in order for them to believe it. So there's food shortages across the planet, right? It's been happening even before COVID, right? You've had loss of crops and livestock due to different plagues like drought and locusts, right? But now, because of COVID, then there's what's called a control famine, right? Which is man-made, it's artificial, but it's happening. You know, a lot of agriculture, in the form of produce, is being destroyed, right? Turned into mulch and put back into the ground because no one's buying it. And a lot of agriculture in the form of livestock has been just senselessly pretty much murdered, right? And because once again, no one's buying it, they're not moving it anywhere. Meat packing plants closed down because of COVID, so on and so forth. So, the famine's already here. It has just not touched the United States. Most of the United States has not touched it, right? But it's coming and it's on the way. So those are two things that you can think of while you're on this 24-hour fast. When your belly's hurting, your mouth is dry, and you just want to drink of water, right? Think about that real famine that's already here, that's about to touch everybody. And then think about the famine of the word, right? And get in, and then people, us Israelites in the truth, we stay watching the videos and reading and learning, studying, right? But more so, on the Day of Atonement, especially on these topics that are relevant. Prophecy to 2020 is the year of prophecy. Get into the prophecy because they're coming down the pipeline really fast, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Matthew 4:4. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceedeth out the mouth of God. So once again, once that fast is hitting you, right? And this is for the newcomers or the people who are going to who are coming into this truth, just finding out about this truth, going to try to keep the Day of Atonement, right? Because brothers in the truth, they fast regularly, So this is a 24-hour food and water fast, you know when it's hitting you, right? Think about that. Think about the famine of the word, right? Because that's this fast that we're doing is to prepare us not only physically for the real famine, right? That's going to take the earth in Babylon, aka USA, but also think about the spiritual famine that's going to grip this place as well, right? And people are going to be, once people have no truth or understanding as to what the hell is going on, bro, that's just going to add to the chaos, all right? So you want to keep that in mind. And also, I just wanted to reinforce the fact that there is an actual, literal, physical famine going on out there. Like I said, it just hasn't gripped, death gripped the United States as it will. Rest assured that it will. So here's a couple of headlines, and from across the world. United Nations food shortages. That was 3 months ago. 3 weeks ago, MPs warned food shortages likely to get worse, and they are, right? like I said, the Most High sending these plagues, as well as letting the evil, letting the sword, right? Esau, Edom, let him control, manipulate things to where we have a controlled famine, and that's going to add to it, right? 2 weeks ago, coronavirus, food shortage fears amid panic buying and delivery struggles. You see that? Australia's getting hit hard with all of this. Videos from Australia are wild, bro. Like the vaccines, the chips, you know, the famine, the lockdown in Australia. It's fucking real, bro. And you know how this devil likes to get down? He likes to experiment outside of the United States. You know, the west coast of Africa and fucking Europe, so-called Arab Emirates. Like he likes going in other places and seeing how shit works out before he implements it here in Babylon, right? So you know that's coming. All right, 3 weeks ago, how long till we run out of food? Will there be a food shortage? That was 2 days ago. Supermarket shock. Crisis in America's food supply. All right, that was 1 month ago. So this is very real, very recent, and it's coming down the line. It's coming down the line, right? Me personally speaking, right? Uh, there's been things that never came back to the shelves of these grocery stores, if you haven't noticed, right? And things that come in, and I'm talking about limited supply, one or two here and there, right? So there's things that aren't already not coming back. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take one more little bitty scare, and it's going to be done and over with. You're going to have round one of the hoarding and the looting and the buying and the panicking, right? And then that's gonna be a wrap for that. All right. These lines at these food banks are gonna get worse, and people are actually gonna start to go hungry. And because these Americans, these Babylonian brute beasts, these swine, this human swine that walks around here has absolutely no control over their gluttony, right? No control over their diet whatsoever. You best believe not 48 hours is going to go by before they try some crazy shit. They're going to eat their pets. The scriptures talk about them, eating their children, eating their own arm, eating their belt, leather items, leather goods, belts, boots. I'm telling you, there's such a lack of dietary discipline and nutritional knowledge in fucking Babylon, and that the demon is heavy. That I guarantee you, these people, they're not going a week. They're not going 2 weeks. I'm talking about they're going days. They might make it to 2 fucking days, and then that gluttony demon that's on them, right, is going to show itself, and they're going to be doing horrendous things. Never mind the sacking and the looting and running up in each other's homes for food and water, but things way beyond our imagination right now that the Bible speaks of, man, that is going to come to fruition, and we're going to see it. Yeah. But I just I just wanted to touch on those things very quickly, right? Um, Before I had to head out, go to work, and yeah, um, prayers and blessings to be, go forth to, you know, the brothers and sisters in this truth, who are, striving for mercy and salvation, right? Keep yourself in check, examine thyself, keep your pride in check, you know, and some things to meditate, there's lots of things to think about and meditate on, right? But just some things to think about, two things primarily to think about while you're doing this fast, right? Is the physical famine, the real famine, right? And the spiritual famine. Those are two things that, read into, look into, watch videos. All right. And with that said, I just want to, I just hope this video was edifying, and I want to say shalom.